Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you What If Naruto Was a Badass Genius Part 13. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the new series that I posted, What If Naruto Was a Smart Prodigy, over on Anime King 2. There will only be 2 What If tonight guys, one on each channel. I hope you still enjoy each and every episode guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last spot we left off, Naruto rushed towards Zabuza as Naruto got him to remove his hand out of the water spear, allowing Kakashi to get out. As Naruto burst into a flock of crows when Zabuza sliced right through him, Hinata appeared right behind Zabuza and struck both of his arms, as Naruto delivered a devastating kick to him, sending him down, as Kakashi created a lightning blade and dashed towards him, but needles pierced into Zabuza's neck. As he collapsed as Haku told him that he was a hunter Nin, here to get Zabuza. And with that, the group allowed Haku to take him and go ahead, even though Naruto was suspicious and wanted to stop Haku, as Kakashi realized his mistake, after Haku did not just take the head off the body, and burn the remains. So with that, the time passed rather quickly, as the group was staying at Wave. As the time finally came when they were on the bridge, as Zabuza attacked them once more, but this time Kakashi wasn't playing around, as he revealed his Sharingan as he attacked Zabuza. As their battle went on, as Hinata quickly rushed in front of Kazuna to protect him, as Naruto and Sasuke were trapped in the ice mirror, as Sasuke activated his Sharingan, as they started a battle, as their quick combo attack was enough to break down the ice mirrors and get Haku out of it. But Haku then heard that sound, the sound that he heard the day when Zabuza almost got killed, as he ran off, as he jumped in the way and took the lightning blade through his chest. But Zabuza couldn't think anything else, as Naruto sliced off his head. With one quick motion, as Zabuza's head hit the bridge, that thud. Gato then appeared, as Naruto looked over at Kakashi, who was tired from overusing the Sharingan, as he then turned towards the entire group of thugs, as he said he will handle this. It was a massacre, as Naruto annihilated all of them. We then had a time skip as Sarutobi. He's been giving the group missions, A and B rap missions, a lot, as people are saying those missions are too dangerous for a group of Genins. But what they don't know, that Naruto is basically a Jonin, and Sasuke was above average and even Hinata was above average. As the group then talked, as Ino was upset, as she saw Naruto lately has become Hinata's knight, as he doesn't seem like he wants any friendship with her anymore. As Shikamaru knew why, Naruto only used things that are valuable to him, seeing that Ino is no longer valuable to him, as she's not really serious of becoming a ninja. He didn't waste his time with her anymore. As Kakashi told the group about the Chunin exams, as Sasuke was excited, as Naruto knew that Sarutobi was just using this as a ploy for him to show Hayashi what Naruto has done in helping Hinata. The old man was really tricky. The Sand team also came, as Naruto walked and talked with Temari, as Sasuke saw the girl that Naruto was supposed to marry, as the rest of them were directed towards the Senju compound where they would stay. The day then finally came, as Sasuke was happy to see Hinata was here, as his mother told him that only a team can take the Chunin exams, as he was happy to see that she was here. And with that, they headed inside, as Lee challenged Sasuke, hearing that he's a Uchiha prodigy, as Sasuke wanted to fight him as well. Lee then dashed forward and he tried to hit Sasuke, but out of nowhere Naruto appeared and grabbed his leg, surprising everyone, as Naruto pushed Lee off and said that they don't have time to waste. As Naruto started saying how fast Lee was, as Sasuke started to chuckle, saying that finally Naruto admits someone is better than him in something. Naruto said that it doesn't matter if he's faster, it doesn't say that he can beat him. As Sasuke started to make fun of Naruto and he kept on talking about it, which made Hinata giggle, as all of them turned and looked at her. So yeah guys, that was basically the last of what we left off. You guys can check out split check out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. Hinata realizing that her giggle was a bit too loud. "I'm sorry," she said. "Your bickering is just amusing." "Well, isn't this sweet?" said a voice. As the group turned to see Kakashi with his famous iconic eye smile. "Look like someone is growing up," he said as he looked at Hinata. He too had never heard her laugh, but for her to have the confidence to laugh in front of her teammates was certainly something. This could only mean that the bond between them could only grow. "Wait here for a moment," he said as he vanished in a poof of smoke. A minute later, he returned the camera. "Let us take a memory for this day. We will not just take this as a day that you take the Chunin exams, but it will be the day when we all heard Hinata laugh for the first time." "Is this really necessary?" said Naruto. Kakashi ignored Naruto, as he had Sasuke and Hinata gather around, as he handed the camera to someone he didn't really know, as he dragged Naruto with him on the right side, as Hinata was standing in the middle and Sasuke was on the left side. As Kakashi stood behind them with an eye smile. "Smile for the camera," the man said, as the man took the picture. Kakashi thanked the man as he took the camera and the photo. As he faced his team, "I have nothing more to say than good luck and make your parents proud, and me also," he said, and with that he vanished. Naruto simply shook his head as he walked away with his teammates following him from behind. They made it to the class the others were supposed to be. The moment Naruto opened the door, he was assaulted by different waves of killer intent, but he shook them off with that ease, as he found it amusing. Little humans trying to imitate him with such weak killer intent. If he released doses of the Kyuubi intent, most of them may even pass out or puke their guts out. Killing intent was supposed to accomplish something like that, not this. Something that he could merely shrug off. "Something amusing?" said Shikamaru from behind Naruto. "Yes," Naruto said, "the weak attempt to intimidate me." As he caught the eyes of other teams, as he saw Ino, "I must say I'm very surprised to see you here." "What? Why?" she asked. "You have not changed from the days you were in the academy. I sense and see no change at all," Naruto said. "What's that supposed to mean?" she asked. "Training, I presume," said Shikamaru quietly. Like him, Ino hardly trained, and that was something Naruto found very disappointed. "Kiba team is also here," said Shikamaru, as he saw Team Guy, so that made 12 first Genins participating in the exams. "Or, you can call it Konoha 12, said Kiba, as he turned as he saw Hinata and smiled at her. "Hinata, have these bastards been treating you well?" "Because I swear if they have been mistreating you," as Akumaru finished off with a bark. "And what exactly would you do?" asked Sasuke. "I would beat both of you up," Kiba said. To Sasuke, this was a bad joke that wasn't even amusing. They were soon approached by a male ninja looking rather old for the exams, as he told them about his experience, and he had gathered information from taking the exam so many times and offered them information. "Give me information on Uzumaki," Naruto Shikamaru asked, out of merely curiosity. Kabuto pulled the card as he started adding chakra. "Naruto Uzumaki, huh? Taijutsu skill, high Chonin. Kinjutsu, low Jonin. Ninjutsu, well, I don't have much except for the use of the Rasengan, a technique that was created by the 4th Hokage. Missions, 5A rank." "What?" said Sasuke. "How did you do 5A rank when we only did 3? Sasuke asked, as Hinata turned towards Naruto as well. "I did 2 missions before I joined you," Naruto said, a shrug of his shoulder, as he looked at Kabuto with a calculating look. As Kabuto looked back at him, it seems like Naruto didn't want anyone to find out about those missions. As Naruto looked at Kabuto curiously, for him to know about that. How did he have such information? It doesn't matter if he took this exam so many times. Those missions were because of Anbu. How the hell did he know about them? Suddenly, there was a puff of smoke came into the room. As the proctor came. "Alright, everyone sit down, it's time we begin the first phase of the exam." The first part of the exam came and passed rather quickly. A few teams got eliminated, and they moved on to the second part, the Forest of Death. the proctor being uncle. As Naruto agreed with her, there was a lot of teams entering the second round, and he didn't want many of them to enter. He would be forced to take matters in his own hands. He had studied the way the exam held in this village, and he knew what would happen. Things would not go the way he liked. The Forest of Death would do its job to eliminate some teams though, and Naruto was happy with that. As they got their scroll and stepped into the Forest of Death, as they did, Hinata felt a chill run down her spine. She could tell that this was a very dangerous place for her to be, but she could not run back because she was afraid. She had her teammates with her and she knew they would not leave her alone. And by the way, Naruto was with her, nothing could go wrong. They walked for a few minutes before stopping under a tree. "We can't just stand here," Sasuke said. "We need to move and get the other scroll, or else we will fail." "Not possible," Naruto said. "We will make it, we will not fail. But we must not make hasty movements. Let us relax for now. We will reach the destination tomorrow. For now, let us look around and see what will happen." As Sasuke merely shrugged, as an hour passed as Naruto did some light training with Hinata. As Sasuke really could not understand Naruto sometimes. They were in the middle of an exam and he seemed to be worried about training Hinata than handling the damn exam. Later that night, Naruto summoned his sword and placed it behind him, in its sheath, as he had his envoy gear on, his cloak removed, just for the night. "I am going on a hunt," Naruto said. "Since you only like to use your mind when it is convenient, I will tell you something. I wasn't just training Hinata, I was merely tiring her out, while my clones searched the location of the other teams." Sasuke smirked. Even though Naruto insulted him, he focused on the good point. With Hinata out for the night, he could hunt for the scrolls at night, while Hinata and the others team members were sleeping. "I am coming with," Sasuke said firmly, as he wasn't going to give Naruto time to talk and say no, as Naruto simply summoned two clones and told him to stay with Hinata. "We are going to remove the weaklings from the exam and take their scrolls. Use kunais and shurikens, no ninjutsu. We must be silent and effective. There's a lot of ground we need to cover." "That's fine by me," said Sasuke. As the two walked away from the tent housing Hinata, Sasuke cleared his throat. "I never got the chance to speak to you yesterday because the Sand siblings arrived." Naruto glanced at Sasuke at the corner of his eyes. He didn't say anything for a few seconds. "You want to talk about Itachi?" he asked. "I don't really want to talk about him. I just want to thank you," Sasuke said in a very quiet tone. "Itachi showed me everything and I saw that it was your role that made my mother live, and some of my clansmen still breathing today. It's all because of you. Value that contribution. Love your mother and follow my lead. We will get along just fine," Naruto said. "Now, let's get to work." The next morning, Hinata rubbed her eyes as she woke from her sleep. She had the feeling that she missed something, but she didn't really think about it. She was feeling a bit hungry though. She hadn't eaten anything last night, and she wanted a bath to clean herself. A girl needs to keep her body in check after all. Sasuke and Naruto were already up, as both of them were sitting on a log, staring into a map. When she walked out of the tent, Naruto spoke. "Pack everything, we have to move out." Hinata opened her mouth to say something, but she quickly shut it back. As Naruto stared at her, "Say what you want to say." As it was clear to her, he was demanding that she speak her mind. "Well, I'm a bit hungry," she said. "We will eat when we get to a good place. This isn't a good place. We are also moving towards a stream of water that will help us freshen up. And we can also catch some fish to eat. We aren't carrying food in our storage seals, so we'll have to search," Naruto said. Hinata nodded as she went and packed up everything. As she gave Naruto the bag, as he sealed it away as they left the place and headed towards the stream. It wasn't long for them to find the stream, as they settled down as Hinata excused herself to freshen up herself. By the time she returned, her teammates were sitting by the fire, eating fishes. As she joined them in silence. "Eat up quickly so we can leave. We have the scroll we need, so hanging around here isn't an option," Sasuke said to Hinata. She then turned towards Naruto. She saw he was eating at a rather slow pace, but she nodded to Sasuke, as it then hit her. They already had the scroll they needed, but they didn't fight anyone yesterday. Perhaps they moved at night when she was asleep. She wouldn't put it past him to plan something like that while she was sleeping, as it didn't really surprise her that they already had the scroll. As they finished eating up, and they headed into the forest once more, as they were hopping from tree to tree, but suddenly a powerful gust of wind tear through the tree in front of them, pushing them back. A massive amount of killing intent washed over the entire place. As Sasuke felt it, this was much worse than when they faced off against Zabuza. Hinata wasn't any better as she was on her knees, breathing harshly, like she just did a couple laps around the village. Even though Naruto looked calm, he could tell this was very dangerous. Deep inside, he was certain that this was something he should fear. Even so, he held his mask, as he wasn't showing any fear on his face, as his eyes got slitted like the Biju. Whoever this person was, they were not a genin, and Naruto was sure of it. Even Anvus would be nervous around this deadly aura. Naruto wasn't given many time to think as a large snake jumped towards him, trying to swallow him whole. As Naruto jumped back as the snake pursued him, as the thing teared through the ground. As a large snake opened its mouth and dived towards him, Naruto pulled his sword as he channeled Wind Chakra. Wind Cutter! As he swung his sword, as a slicing blade of air teared through the air. When the jutsu collided with the snake poofed away. Suddenly, the ground under him exploded as another snake, its mouth wide open, ready to devour him. Naruto tilted his body as he was looking directly in the snake's eye, as he held out his hand and formed a Rasengan mixed with the Kyuubi's chakra, as he smashed it down on the snake's head, as the snake poofed away. As Naruto landed on the ground, a few question marks. These were not ordinary snakes from the forest. These were summoning snakes, and the only person he knew who could summon snakes, Orochimaru. As Naruto looked down, this was not a battle that could be won by normal means. He could either use a Sharingan or that jutsu. He had promised to only use it to save his mother, but life were at stake here. He needed to do something to surprise the snake while he was off guard. As Naruto looked up to see Sasuke shaking, with Orochimaru just a distance away. He then disappeared in a blur as he appeared beside Sasuke. Orochimaru, Naruto said as he turned towards the attacker, as he pulled out a 3-pronged kunai. What are you doing attacking children? Naruto asked, his red eyes staring at Orochimaru. Orochimaru could not mistake the power of the Kyuubi even if it was a small dose of it. That meant that he was facing the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Minato's son. But he didn't have much interest in the blonde, he was looking for Sasuke. Still, that look the blonde was giving him was not the look of a child, as Orochimaru chuckled madly. Well, it seems that there is something interesting I've overlooked, he said. As Naruto thrust the kunai forward at blinding speed, Orochimaru merely bent his head as it flew past him. Orochimaru was looking at Naruto when Naruto vanished, and he was looking sideways. No, it wasn't him looking sideways, his head was separated from his shoulder. Rasengan, Naruto said as he slammed the Crimson Rasengan into the back of Orochimaru. The Rasengan grind through Orochimaru's back, making a hole, as the body was sent crashing into the ground. As there was a massive explosion as the jutsu set off. As Naruto thrust the kunai towards Orochimaru's head as he stood over it. You're not yet dead. This surpassed human limitation, Naruto said. But this should be enough as he held out his hand as he built another Rasengan infused with the Kyuubi's power. As this should be enough to obliterate Orochimaru's head. But Naruto didn't get to smash the Rasengan in his head, as many snakes rushed towards him from where Orochimaru's body was crushed. As Naruto thrust the kunai up towards Sasuke and grabbed onto Sasuke's shoulder and thrust the kunai towards Hinata and flashed towards her. As Naruto picked up Hinata and threw her over his shoulder. Kyuubi, Naruto said. I know, said Kurama as he forced his chakra out of the seal. As the crimson chakra covered Naruto's legs, up to his waist. Without much said, and not even a glance towards Orochimaru, Naruto vanished in pure speed towards his teammates. Destination the tower. From the small crater, Orochimaru stood up with a frown on his lips. As he glared at the hole on his chest, he wasn't healing as quickly as he should. There was traces of the Kyuubi chakra inside of his system, and it was destroying his flesh slowly. That damn brat! He specifically used that jutsu because he knew that Biju's chakra was like poison to a human, except for their host. If he allowed this chakra to fully pass through the wound and enter his system completely, it would be a problem for him. He had even failed to brand Sasuke, but that wasn't much of a problem for him. He found something rather more interesting, Naruto to be precise. The blonde was something special he needed to look into if he was going to make him tick. 2 hours later, Anko had a baffled look on her face as she stared at the blonde right in front of her, as she was currently inside of Sarutobi's office. As Naruto turned his attention to Sarutobi, as Anko couldn't believe what he just said. Let me get this straight, Anko said. You beat Orochimaru and left a hole inside his chest. Although you have a history with Anko, that shouldn't be possible. Not even Kakashi could go toe to toe against a snake. I never said I beat Orochimaru, and I didn't just leave him with a hole in his chest. I severed his head off his shoulders, Naruto said. As Kakashi was there as he was sitting by the window. That is Orochimaru, Naruto. When I was younger, I couldn't even face him. He was just too powerful. Sarutobi cleared his throat to get everyone's attention. How did you do it, Naruto? He asked. As Hiruzen wasn't that shocked, he knew that Orochimaru was too arrogant and wouldn't really take kids seriously. And he knew what Naruto had in his arsenal. Element of surprise, Naruto said. And you forget, I am still a Jinchuriki of the most powerful Biju. I may not have access to all of his power, but I do have access to some of his power. Given that, what did you use to catch him off guard? Wait, did you use it? Sarutobi asked. Naruto nodded. It only takes a second when using it. I realized that was the only option. I must admit, he's rather frightening. I never been so nervous in front of a foe before. He was after Sasuke, wasn't he? Naruto asked. Yes, possibly the Sharingan. In any case, you should return to your teammates. We will talk after the second exam is done. At this stage, the exam is still active. Naruto merely nodded as he disappeared by his Shin. You're continuing with the exams? Isn't it a bit dangerous with Orochimaru out there? Kakashi asked. The exam will continue. Orochimaru's arrogance will be his downfall. Does he really think he can take on this village by himself? And Jiraiya should be back in a day or two. I have sent a message for him to return. Kakashi nodded. Is there anything else? Orochimaru might be planning an invasion. I received word from Jiraiya. And that would explain why he was here in the first place. I doubt he would have just come here to get to Sasuke. Whatever you do, do not let it slip to Naruto. Do you understand me? Said Sarutobi. As Kakashi nodded. It wouldn't be good if he found out something like that. Why the serious mood around just a brat? Asked Anko, as she saw how serious both of them was. If he had an army, he would be marching towards Orochimaru village. But since he doesn't have one, the Kyuubi would probably see the light again and march towards Orochimaru's destination. And it would not be because of his love for Konoha, Sarutobi said. Meanwhile, with Team 7, Sasuke looked at Naruto with a look, as he wanted answers. He didn't like when things were being held back away from him. As Naruto simply told him that Orochimaru was after him, but he didn't explain why. As Naruto was sitting on the edge of a small single bed in the room, in the tower. As Naruto wasn't even looking at Sasuke, he was thinking, Orochimaru really sickened him. That thing made him detest humans. A sick, cruel creature that only sought about pain. Orochimaru was a kind of even snake that would eat people like Hinata alive. And in Naruto's eyes, people like Hinata were the real humans. They were the one who could breathe freely in this world. Snakes like Orochimaru only brought pain and chaos wherever they touched. Naruto, Sasuke said, cutting Naruto's thoughts. What? Naruto said. If you have a question, ask. But that will depend if I have the answer that you seek. What did Orochimaru want? Sasuke asked. Some time ago, he attacked your brother. According to Itachi, he wanted his body and the Sharingan. I don't know the full details, but since he failed with Itachi, he's coming after you. With you, he didn't need to use force, but try to manipulate you. It is most likely he will try to pin you against your brother, trying to get you on his side by luring you to his way, by giving you false information about giving you strength. So what if he get the jump on us next time and try to use force? Asked Sasuke. We will run, Naruto said, but I will talk to Itachi about setting up a trap with using one of the Sharingans I have. It would be nasty, but I wouldn't mind watching the snake toss around as the black flames incinerate his body. We should rest now, Naruto said. He won't reach us here, and other teams are still in the forest. We have to wait for the second stage to be completed before learning what will happen next. Sasuke finds it amusing that Naruto was talking about running from Orochimaru. After what he saw, Naruto just severed his head off his shoulders. But Sasuke knew that Orochimaru was rather dangerous if Naruto was talking like that. He knew when to fight and when not to fight. Time skip. Sarutobi looked down at the teams that made it through the second round. The teams that came here was too much to go to the finals, so they have to cut that number. Congratulations for passing the exam, Sarutobi said. Normally, having passed a survival challenge, you should be making your way towards the finals. But there is still too many of you. We will have to cut some of you so we can accommodate a smaller number in the finals. As Shikamaru looked around, as he saw the people that made it, he came across a team that spoke of a team hitting them at night. It was not hard to guess that it was Naruto. Team, the blonde, has always done things in different ways. And that was also the easiest way to get the scrolls, when teams were sleeping tired from the day. Before I proceed, said Sarutobi, is there anyone here that think they cannot go on? Kabuto quickly raised his hand, saying that he didn't have enough chakra to fight, and saying that his teammates were in no shape to fight either. Kankuro also raised his hand to the surprise of his siblings. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at Kabuto, he could tell that man wasn't tired. Sarutobi wasn't someone easy to fool, but yet he dismissed Kabuto rather easily. Now, Sarutobi said, we are going to proceed this way. The teams with the most scroll will be accepted from this round and head straight to the drawing board for the finals. And the remaining teams will have to fight to secure a spot to the finals. Not fair. Yeah, we all passed second exam. Why must we be treated unfairly? We should all get safe passage. Not fair, said Sarutobi. The teams who have the most scroll actually fought more matches and won those. Doesn't that mean they're strong and ready for the finals? Teams with just 2 scrolls are only able to defeat one team, meaning that they have less competition. If we're talking about fair, saying that the teams with 2 scroll did the same thing as a team with 6 scroll is really unfair. Hayate took over for Sarutobi. You were all given the same opportunities and the same playing field. Having just 1 scroll means that you barely made it, even though that was a requirement for the passing of the second test. There are those who passed with flying colors and those who did just enough. We cannot simply put those 2 in the same room, because your results show that you're not equal. There were a few murmurs with the Genins, but neither Hayate or Sarutobi entertained them. Team Baki, you came in first and had the second most scrolls. You're excused from this round. Team 7, you came in third and had the most scrolls. You're excused from this round. We've watched your executions and you have been executed from the preliminaries. As he then pointed at the balcony, if you can just go and wait over there. Ino looked at Naruto with a naughty eye. It wasn't that she was having any evil thoughts or anything. She was just a bit jealous that he get a free card out of jail and he doesn't have to fight while she have to. If she was on his team, she would have been avoiding any fighting now. But because she was stuck with Choji and Shikamaru, she had to grind through to reach the next point. It was disappointing. You will not be fighting as team, but one-on-one matches. Know that right now you do not represent your team, but yourself and your village. Those who win their matches will go to the finals. We will draw the matches for the preliminaries right now, the proctor said. The first match, Ino versus Sakura. The second match, Lee versus Kiba. There were other matches paired up, as Hayate dismissed the other Genins and had them wait over the balcony, as Sakura and Ino steer behind. Naruto watched as Ino and Sakura battle. It didn't last long, but he had never been so disappointed in his life. Hinata, Naruto said as he turned towards her. If you fight like that, don't ever appear in front of me ever again. That was pathetic. If I was their sensei, I would be ashamed to call myself their sensei, even call myself a sensei at all. Why would anyone nominate them to the Chunin exams? The decision to put those children in the ring seems stupid. All eyes turned towards Kurenai and Asuma. The next match is about to start, said Asuma, as he didn't want all the attention on him. Did Naruto have to put it so flatly though? If he didn't know any better, he would have thought that the blonde was saying that to humiliate them. Naruto, said Kakashi, can I talk to you? Naruto simply nodded as it was nothing for him to see down there. His team was going to battle. Kakashi placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder as the both of them vanished in a swirl of leaf. They appeared in a room with Sarutobi, clone. Shadow clone, Naruto said, as he sized up the old man. As the old man nodded, Kabuto, said Sarutobi, you have made contact with him while you were still in the academy. In the first phase of the test, did he appear in front of you again? No, he did not, Naruto said. I doubt he will do something as risky as that. What do you mean by that, said Sarutobi. He knows that I know he has access to secret information despite making himself seem to be a failure of a Genin, Naruto said. I thought he would appear once again, since we suspect he has been working with Orochimaru. In any case, this does not lift any suspicions we have on him. Why don't you just go after him and interrogate him, Naruto asks. He escaped when we tried to do that. The moment he left, Onvus are already on his tail, but he managed to lose them. They're still searching, but it's unlikely for them to find him now. Kakashi, you can go, says Sarutobi. Naruto, I want to speak to you about something. A few minutes later, by the time Naruto returned back, the matches were already over, and those who made it were being addressed by Sarutobi. The finals will be held in a month after tomorrow. You will have this time to learn and prepare, and get stronger to face your opponent. He then turned to Hayate, if you will. We're going to draw the first match for the finals, the man said. The first match was drawn, with Hinata versus Neji. The second match was Lee versus Naruto. And the third match was Temari versus Shikamaru. And the fourth match was Sasuke versus Gaara. Later that day, Uchiha compound. Mikoto shook her head as she watched her son walk away from her. He was very happy about making it to the finals of junior exams. Perhaps the thought of showing everyone what he can do was appealing to him. As she was happy for her son, well, what kind of mother wouldn't be happy? She then turned towards Naruto, who was sitting beside her, as they were at the back of the house. He didn't share Sasuke's excitement about making it to the finals of junior exams. Well, he was already on Vu. This was something small to him, seeing that he was past Chunin level already. He was basically a man trapped in a boy's body. Mikoto giggled at that thought. Perhaps she was starting to lose it. You look happy, Naruto said, as he saw her giggle. Maybe I am, she said. I'm happy for Sasuke. Seeing him so excited like this made me remember the old days. He was a sweet, innocent child. And cute, she said. I tend not to think about yesterday and the last, Naruto said. I really don't care much for the past. Memories we have will always be with us, whether good or bad. Good memories should not hold us back from living in the present and the future. The little innocent in Sasuke is gone, perhaps part of it still remains, but this is not the past. Instead of focusing on the past, how about we look forward to tomorrow, Naruto said. You're right, she said. I want the days to move by quickly. As Naruto looked at her, you want the future to come rather quickly. What awaits you? You will see eventually, she said. I didn't think that you would be the one to talk about happiness though. Kushina would be ecstatic when she learns of it. I can imagine that. I think everyone desires to be happy at some point, but sometimes priorities get in the way, Naruto said as he looked at the flowers in the garden. If you wish for it, you can have it. You have me. If you require me to show you happiness, I can. I understand there are some things you can't ask of your mother, she said, with a warm smile on her face. You have given me a chance to live. I know my sons are okay, and that makes me happy. But you know, even I sometimes wish to feel alive. I don't want to grow old and be lonely. You have my mother, Naruto said. There are things she cannot give, and she's just a friend, Mikoto said. It took 2 minutes for Naruto to respond. You mean relationship, he asked, as Mikoto nodded. Your mother said that she cannot love anyone else, but I can. This is why I wait for the future, to claim the one that made me feel happy again and alive. Naruto raised the eyebrow. I hope he will be a worthy person, and not a despicable man. Mikoto smiled a beautiful smile. He is sweet when he wants to be, and I know he will make me happy. Naruto thought of it, as he then shrugged. I have never really thought about relationship, despite my engagement with Temari. Mother does wish for me to be in a relationship when I grow older. I think that would be a difficult task for me, but I do understand that you need someone to care for you. As he turned towards her, I do hope whoever you find will care for you. I can say that because if he turns out to be a sly snake, I will cut off his head, Naruto said. Mikoto giggled as she could really see that happening. I love that you care for me, granted how close you are. I think it is something special and it makes me happy, she said. Time skip. 2 days later. Kakashi didn't know how he was going to start this conversation with Naruto. He didn't want to come off like he was favoriting Sasuke from Hinata. They had all made it to the finals of the Chunin exams, but he wanted to train Sasuke alone, as he was more suitable in teaching Sasuke ninjutsu than Naruto. He thought it was best he focused entirely on Sasuke, as Sasuke had a tough match against Gaara in the first round, and given how Gaara performed, Kakashi was going to take any chances. He needed to do anything to make sure that he decreased the gap between Naruto and Sasuke. If he managed to do so, Sasuke will get the better on Gaara because he had no doubt that Naruto was strong to face Gaara and win the match. Kakashi, Naruto said, looking at the Jonin. I actually wanted to speak to you about something, Naruto said. I also wanted to talk to you about Sasuke, said Kakashi. As he looked at Naruto for a moment, trying to read Naruto's expression, but all he got was a blank mask. Naruto then spoke, it would be best if you take your time with him to teach him ninjutsu. Lightning could be his greatest element. I think it would be best for you to take your time to teach him. A little time away from Sasuke will do him good. It will be great to see how he grows, Naruto thought to himself. I had something similar in mind, Kakashi said. You wouldn't have a problem if I teach him a dangerous jutsu, would you? As at this point Sasuke was by all means Naruto's student. He communicated with the Uchiha's mother and he has been overseeing his training for some time now. It would be best if he asks his option. It doesn't matter what you teach him, Naruto said with a shrug. At this point though, I think he does need something strong in his arsenal. If he doesn't learn anything, he will start to think that I'm holding him back. Sometimes you need to nurse his pride a bit, but not too much, because he will become full of himself. As Kakashi simply nodded, as Naruto had a thing about arrogance, as he always tried to show Sasuke that he had his limits. Hinata, said Kakashi, as he had to know how Naruto will deal with the Hyuga. Honestly, Kakashi was just a sensei in name. To the girl, Naruto was a real sensei. Even so, he was a leader of Team 7, he could not simply hope for the best without making sure that things would be okay. How are you even going to deal with your own training, Kakashi asked. I have sort of hit the barrier of my age. There isn't much I can learn now. I just have to perfect what I do know now. Perhaps Fuinjutsu could do, and I need to get control of the power inside of me. Kakashi didn't show any reaction to that. Naruto never have a problem about talking about the Biju sealed within him. Someone else would be nervous about that, but Naruto was not. Sasuke knew about the Biju and Hinata most likely knew about it. Seeing that being a Jinchuriki was something normal for Naruto. As Sarutobi wasn't even having a problem with Naruto using the power of the Biju, he said that it was fine and Naruto will not be corrupted by it. I will need to leave the village to be able to get all the time needed to train, Naruto said. You're going to leave the village without your mother? Kakashi said, as he sounded shocked when he spoke. Don't be ridiculous, Naruto said. Mother is also coming along. I need her help with Fuinjutsu as well. Would Hayashi allow his daughter to leave the village with you though? Kakashi said, as he didn't see that happening. With how the man viewed Naruto, it was likely that he was going to think Naruto was going to influence his daughter in a bad way. He doesn't have to agree with it, Naruto said, as Kakashi looked at him confused. Hinata is a shinobi of the Hina Leaf, thus the subordinate of Sarutobi. If he said that she was taken away by her shinobi sensei in a long month training camp to prepare for the finals, he will not complain, especially when Sarutobi approved of it. Well, that is what official records to say anyway, Kakashi said. Do you really think about these things on your own? And that is just basically using a technicality to get what you want. Have you spoken to the Hokage about it? No, Naruto said. I will, but I have already told Hinata to prepare for the journey away from the village. We won't be going far anyway, but a distance to avoid unwanted eyes. Well, I'm sure that Sarutobi has already figured out you would continue to train Hinata. The both of your schemes have to combine anyway, said Kakashi. What about the Sand siblings? They leave today for the Sand and they will return in time for the exams, Naruto said. Well, most Genins are returning home, Kakashi said. Well, the Sand was the only one that had Genins in the finals. The others were from Konoha. It wasn't a surprise that the Hina Leaf was dominating. How will you go against your battle against Lee? Asked Kakashi. I will figure something out, said Naruto. Physically, he is stronger than me and he is also faster than me. I am not slow by any means. I am not too troubled by it either way. But my focus this month will be on Hinata. She has to put on a good show. Just make sure you don't neglect your own training. Lee isn't someone you want to underestimate. As Naruto stared at Kakashi for a minute before speaking, on a different matter, what about the snake? It will be a problem if the snake continues to trouble Sasuke, as he needed things to work out with Sasuke for him. And if he keep on doing that, he will have to get mad. As Naruto thought about it, it has been quite some time since he lost it. Even when the villagers were cursing him in front of his mother, he always remained calm. Perhaps he should go on a slaughter and kill that snake. The Hokage is dealing with it, said Kakashi, as Naruto looked at him curiously. But Kakashi kept his mask up. as Naruto on no means could find out that Orochimaru was planning an invasion, as Sarutobi was sure that Naruto will make his own plans and those plans will not benefit Konoha in any way. "I'll see you in a month," he said, as he vanished in a poof of smoke. But guys, we'll be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this or know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn that bell notifications stay posted. And remember, if you're new guys and this is the first time you're hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. So yeah, without further ado guys, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace. Well, tomorrow.